Welcome everyone to Cloud Data Driven Online User Group Meeting. This user group fall under Data Driven Community, and Data Driven Community is one of the largest online community that is created just to bring the latest information related to data, AI, and visualization. Sometimes we do have topics outside of this content, but we are mainly a data community team. For today's presentations, we have Sanjay. I know Sanjay, and guess what happened? I'm a big fan of Sanjay content, and I will have Sanjay introduce himself very, very soon. In the meantime, let me walk you through data-driven community. We have feature data-driven, which just happened last week on September 24th. This summit is created just to keep you posted with the latest information related to data, AI, and visualization, mainly Microsoft product, but we also have couple sessions on AWS and Google and semi-blind for cloud data driven. How can you access? If you go, you type data driven community. This is our website. Okay. And then in here, you can register for all our upcoming sessions. And same thing, if you go to Meetup, you can go and have access to all our upcoming sessions. Just give me one quick second. So if we click on events, if you would like to register, so you can see how many sessions we have lined up for you. And we highly suggest you to go and be part of our community. We also on Facebook, we also on LinkedIn, Twitter. Just follow us. Okay, so this is what you can scan to access this. And I already this is me already passed. Um, who is behind the scene? The person behind the scene is Ronan. Even though he's a co-admin, I consider him as the head of the community. Without Ronan, there's nothing we can do. If you happen to have a session or any technical issue related to our community or any topic you would like to present, the primary person to contact has to be Ronan, and he's very prompt. So he's the head of the community. On the one end, we have Titi. I can't express how much work she's doing behind the scene. Even though you say moderator, she's doing way more than that. She's one of our active board organizer, and comes me, okay? I am the founder and the co-organizer. So if you would like to connect with me, feel free to do that. Right now, I am an independent contractor and trainer. So if there is any project related to data, AI, and visualizations, I'll be happy to work with you, especially if it's contract works, right? So in reality, this is our board, okay? And, I'm big in terms of the community. We have a tons of other events. We have, first of all, we have Microsoft Ignite that is scheduled, and I highly suggest you to register. There's a free session or there's a free registrations. All you have to do, go and register yourself. And this is November. We also have what we call Live 360 and Orlando. This is one of the biggest um, uh, in-person conference. And if you haven't been part of this conference, I highly suggest you to go and register yourself. We also have PASS, data community, right? And I would love to give kudos to this community. They are the first community back 2013 or 12, gave me a chance to speak to our virtual chapter user group. I'm pretty sure we all aware they have a yearly conference that's coming up in Seattle. If you haven't registered, feel free to do that. Also, there is a free one that called SQL Saturday. If you haven't be part of this community, I highly suggest you to go to SQL Saturday. The advantage of this is 100% free, and this could be local to you. You didn't know that. As you can see, we have, it's a every Saturday, we there are different community one free conferences, but in person. For example, there's Orlando, there's Pittsburgh. I am one of the speakers there. I'll be speaking. You can see there's a tons of speaker and content available to you, and those are free. I highly suggest you to go and be part of the community. Why not? If I'm taking advantage of it, and I also would love you to do the same because the community keep me updated. One more time, I would like to say thank you to all of you for sharing your time. And now we have it. Now it's time to welcome Sanjay. Sanjay, you know I'm a big fan of you. Right? You know your content is always outstanding. I'll be sitting uh, uh, and learn from you. Feel free to share your screen, introduce yourself, and start with your presentation. And it's truly an honor to have you today. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Ronan, and thank you, everybody. I am very honored to be a part of this community. Have been associated with this community for a long time, and looking forward to keep connecting with you all, orthogonal to how our coordinates change and how things evolve. So you all are part of the uh, data community, and everybody these days is talking about AI, how AI changing the world, how the world will not remain the same because AI is changing our daily life, our work life, our products, and everything else. But guess what? The key to successful AI is actually data. No data, no AI. Because what is liquid water for life on Earth? If there was no liquid water on Earth, there won't be any life. If there was no data, there won't be any AI. So you all, as a data community member, no matter how you serve the data, whether you are the custodian of the data, you manage the data, you build applications with data, you integrate the data, you all hold the key to the success of AI. And therefore, I'm very honored to be a part of this community, communicating with you all. Today, I'm bringing you a new story that have different than what I have brought to you before. And this story is about how you can use AlloyDB, which is Google Cloud's Postgres offering, and we'll talk about that to build AI applications. Because a few things are happening in the world. The data landscape is changing, and some databases are becoming more and more popular. And we'll talk about how that landscape is evolving. So we'll talk about briefly about AlloyDB. Many of you may be aware of AlloyDB, may not be aware of AlloyDB. So I'll spend a few minutes in setting the foundation of that, and we'll talk a lot about AlloyDB AI, and we'll do demos, and then we'll ensure that we have some time for Q&A. One thing that you may have noticed is a database called PostgreSQL is taking the world by storm. This is the data from the 2025 Stack Overflow survey. 55% of professional developers, they use PostgreSQL. And this number was 48% in 2023. It was like around 52% in 2024, and now 55%. It is increasing and leaving every other database behind. There are a few reasons for that. Because a lot of innovation happening in Postgres. And Postgres being an open source database, the innovations are coming from multiple sources. Also, Postgres being an open source database, many flavors of that Postgres database runs on everywhere, including many in many different cloud vendors. And as a result, the virtuous cycle of open source and cloud support combiningly bringing Postgres into the center stage. What also Postgres offers is the extensible model. The new capabilities can be developed as an extension, can be loaded into the database, connected into the database, enabled in the database, and then you get the functionality. That actually helps accelerate innovation. So here you might ask, because I feel part of this community. If you are a data professional today, and if you haven't a chance to touch Postgres, please do so. Postgres is not only defining because it started as an OLTP database, it is not only defining the landscape of the OLTP scenario, but even for analytics scenario, Postgres is becoming a very, very common ingredient. Not only that, most of the AI advancements in the database world is happening in Postgres first. And therefore, whether you change your production database today from wherever you are running it to Postgres or not, whether you completely change your resume to use Postgres or not, it's a different thing. But if you are not investing some of your time to get familiar with Postgres and getting used to its many capabilities, I think you're missing out on the trend. So my request to you all, definitely get familiar with Postgres because it is becoming important. However, while Postgres is very popular, Postgres is open source, available everywhere. The run-of-the-mill Postgres that you get comes with a few gaps if you want to run your mission critical production enterprise ready workloads. For example, scale. The out of the box Postgres has some scale and performance limitations. You need availability. To be able to availability, you probably want, okay, who will manage my availability, my disaster recovery and everything else, my backups and restore and everything else. Probably you need a managed service. Probably you need support, because if you're running something in production, you're running an important workload on that one. What happens if you need support? Who will provide support? Because the out of the box Postgres has no support. It's just an open source software. So all these capabilities means that you need to have a little bit more blended into Postgres to make your life as a Postgres database user successful for your enterprise capabilities. Today, all these capabilities exist in commercial proprietary databases, which many of you are familiar with. And they come with their goodness, they come with their challenges. Main important challenge with the proprietary databases is the speed of innovation. Because whichever company owns those databases, they're the only one innovating in their space. And they have to spread their innovation across many other things that they provide and support. As a result, the innovation in these databases is much slower than the innovation that you will see in Postgres or any other flavor of a Postgres. So what Google has done is offered a service called AlloyDB for PostgreSQL. AlloyDB is a Google Cloud's managed service which takes the open source Postgres, keeps it 100% compatible, and adds Google Spices flavors sauce into it in the form of Google's engineering bringing innovations into it, Google Cloud infrastructure providing the managed service to it, as well as the innovation that comes from which is not part of regular database innovation. For example, Google has been in the space of search, YouTube, videos, and all this for a long time. And many technologies has evolved in that space to be able to make those user functions better, faster, cheaper, and so on. Guess what? With the advancement of AI, many of those capabilities also apply to database applications. So Google has been able to bring some of those into the database itself in its flavor of AlloyDB. So with AlloyDB, what you get is that you get 100% Postgres compatibility. You get a managed service with backup, restore, HADR, everything else taken care for you. Not only that, because of the innovation that has been put into place, it provides better scale, better performance, better price performance compared to what you get from a run-of-the-mill stock Postgres. Because it's a managed service, it provides a 4 nines of high availability, which many of the enterprise applications demand today. And obviously, it provides the security and everything else that you need, and a lot of AI capabilities that we will also talk today. As a result of the innovations that has been injected by Google into AlloyDB on top of Postgres, provides 4x faster OLTP transactions, 100x faster analytical queries, and many folds of performance for vector search, for write throughput for vector workloads, and it also uses 3 to 4x less memory for vector workloads. So we'll see many of these folds as we unfold this. And you can see, okay, you say it is better performant, how good it is. So we did benchmarking compared to the most popular Postgres managed service out there, which is Amazon Aurora. Amazon Aurora has been there in the industry for almost a decade, and it has been pretty popular. And we compared it with that, and we found out that Amazon Aurora Postgres running on Amazon's Graviton software, compare that to AlloyDB for Postgres from Google running on Google's hardware, which is Axion-based hardware. And we can see that it is a 2x higher throughput, 3x better price performance. And that kind of tell you how the Google's innovation have made AlloyDB a superior service. And we thought that why just we? Our comparison is good, but also let the third-party validation come in. So GigaOM recently published a report, and the link is here. You can see the report, and they are able to show how AlloyDB is able to outperform Aurora Postgres for the same workload, for the same shape and size of machine and memory settings and so on. So this is also like a third-party validated number I'm sharing with you. No, so this kind of gives you overview of what is AlloyDB and how good AlloyDB is. But what makes AlloyDB so good? So let's look a little bit of under the hood, what goes behind the scene. Behind the scene, what has happened in AlloyDB is that it has separated compute and storage. And you have seen this model evolving in last 5-10 years in many databases, including some proprietary databases, including some other cloud databases. This trend of separation of storage and compute is growing. But when you separate storage and compute, performance can come into the picture. Can this workload perform if the storage is not close to the database? As a result, what AlloyDB has introduced is a tiered caching. The actual data store is in Google's colossal storage. All the tables and everything and the files are stored there. But in between, there are multiple layers of caching. There is a storage level caching called intelligent storage engine. And then above that, there is ultra fast cache, and which ultra fast cache, and then obviously every database has a buffer store, buffer cache, and then you can see that. These multiple layers of caching helps AlloyDB manage the data access patterns much more efficiently in a very low latency as well as scalable way. And you can see that the buffer cache is, of course, based on the size of the memory that you have. The ultra-fast cache extends the buffer cache. It is kind of an extension of the buffer cache. And the durable storage also has caching, which allows you to the data access. All these layers helps improve the latency, efficiency, storage performance, and so on. This is what the regular Postgres is not able to do. This is one of the ingredients that goes into making AlloyDB superior performance. Not only that, regular Postgres that you get as you download is a pure OLTP engine. It is not designed or not good at analytical queries. And you have all seen that these days there is a blur between pure OLTP application, pure analytical application. You can be a store manager in a retail store, and your job is not just to do every transaction that is going on perfectly fine, but you also want to know, okay, which item I have sold the most today. So that's kind of an aggregate query that needs to go across a larger amount of data than a single transaction that needs to go to and do aggregate and bring in. If you do not have analytical capabilities in that database, you will be kind of causing huge performance problem, not just for your queries, but also for everything else that is running on the database. Or you may have to take the data out of your database through ETL pipeline into another data store which is good for analytical and run the queries. Guess what? There is a pain of ETL. While a lot of you do ETL and ETL is good and important for certain things, for some use cases, ETL actually stands for error prone, tedious, introduces latency. That's what ETL is. If you have to do that, you are not getting your data of real time. So to do real time processing of analytical queries on top of your OLTP business data, you need capabilities which is commonly called HTAP, hybrid transaction and analytical capabilities. And so to do that, on top of regular Postgres, AlloyDB has introduced something called an analytical accelerator, which is multiple parts. One part of that is a columnar engine. What this columnar engine does is actually stores the data into columnar format in addition to the row format. So the row format is where your OLTP transactions are happening, which comes default in Postgres. But in real time, in memory, it is converting the row format into column format. And when it gets a analytical queries, the optimizer finds out, okay, this is an aggregate type of queries. I'll be better served from the columnar format of this data. So it goes to the columnar format and does that. And the engine internally maintain transactional consistency between the two stores without you having to do any change in your schema, without you having to define a columnar index that some of the databases they do. So that's that. So that's what is very intelligently done, very transparently done, and can bring you up to very fast analytical queries. But guess what? Even though this is an extra addition to the engine, it still remains 100% Postgres compatible. How? Because all this is happening in the engine. So that's why we call it columnar engine. Compare that to some other database product which have a columnar store. Columnar store means the data is stored in columnar format on the disk itself. That means you take the backup of the data to somewhere else. The columnar store is part of that. You need to have columnar access point from there. Here, the data on the disk is still row format only. 100% compatible to regular Postgres, so that if you have to take the backup and run it with another Postgres, obviously that Postgres will still be able to work with the data. Obviously, that will not have the columnar engine to give you the performance that you need, but your data is 100% transportable without you need to do anything else. So that is a very important key principles of AlloyDB. 100% compatible, but still differentiated. Bring you the strength, the capabilities, the unique innovations that you need without you having to compromise with the open source capabilities, compatibility that Postgres stands for. So as a result, what happens is that we're able to run these analytical queries on AlloyDB 100% faster than what you would have got from the regular Postgres. You don't need to change schema. That means you don't have to define a columnar index or anything, or a clustered columnar index, which some of the data stores they require. You can just say that, oh, here are my tables, and I want the engine to find out the columnar representation of the data. You can, if you had put together a lot of analytical indexes and so on, you can just drop those analytical indexes because you don't need them. And as you know, the aggregate indexes and so on, they slow down your OLTP queries. Because this is the columnar format, you do not need a bunch of those indexes, and you can speed up your OLTP queries as well. And guess what? Because AlloyDB comes with, I didn't have a time to go into the full deployment architecture of AlloyDB today because of I wanted to show you some demos as well in the AI side. What AlloyDB comes with, obviously a failover node, but also a bunch of read pool nodes. A bunch of read pool nodes allows you to direct your read queries to those nodes without impacting your primary. And guess what? You can actually do the columnar engine on the primary, on the secondary, on the read pools, on some read pools, very flexible way. So you could see that, for example, here you have, let's say, only one node. You don't have any other node. You could say, okay, I have OLTP queries and I have analytical queries, I can enable columnar engine here, I'm good. But you can also see that I have a read pool. I will make sure that all my read queries go here, or my analytical queries go to the read pool. So I don't need to enable columnar engine on my primary, but I can enable it on the read pool. So that's the flexibility here. Or you could do in the both, depending on how your goes. Or if you have multiple read pools, you can enable it on some read pools and some not. Some not. This gives you a total flexibility of how you want to enable certain capabilities of the engine to cater to the specific workload that comes to that node without having to change anything in your data, without having to copy over your data from one node to another node, because this is a decoupled storage. All the read pool node, they access the same data on the storage. Okay. We talked about the if you do not have the capability in one database, what happens is that you'll have to cater to OLTP application and to cater to analytical application and to cater to GenAI application. You may need 3 different data stores, and as a result, lots of data movement, lots of error-prone, tedious, and high latency pipelines that you'll have to build, and you may not be able to get the full benefit of your data. Your data may not be able to achieve its full potential. But what we do is that with one data store in AlloyDB, we are able to do OLAP applications, OLTP applications, as well as GenAI application with embedding models. And I'll talk about the GenAI applications and thing in a bit. Everything can be done because AlloyDB is not only a fantastic OLTP store, with his columnar engine, it's able to do the OLAP and analytical queries. And it is also a fantastic vector database to be able to do AI application on top of it as well. And so who is doing this? Who is taking advantage of this unification? Neuro, some of you may have heard of the company. It's a Bay Area-based company which does lots of automation, software, and hardware. When I go to our California office, I see that driverless Neuro cars are driving on the road. And the driverless cars, they have robots and so on. All these needs lots and lots of AI capabilities about the motions of the robots, about the motions of the cars, and so on. They are stored in AlloyDB database, and all their vector processing happens there without they having to move data out of their OLTP store to another store and so on. And actually, they wrote a blog for us, and then you can read everything that Neuro does in with AlloyDB. It's always good to see who else is doing it, because then you can kind of map your application pattern to their application pattern and feel comfortable and confident that, yeah, we can do that as well. So all the goodies that I talked to you about, they say, hey, it is open source compatible. It has got a lot of new and additional capabilities. A lot of Google's innovation has gone into it. But you can say, okay, how can I make all those things freely? Because I want to try those out. I want to learn those out. AlloyDB comes with free cluster. It's a 30 days no cost trial. And it is not a toy database that we give. We give 8 vCPU, and you can imagine it comes with an ample amount of memory, because each CPU comes with kind of 8 gig of memory. So very, very, I would say, powerful clusters that you get on terms of CPU, memory, storage, available in all the regions, and it's all for free. For 30 days for free, you can go try out, run any kind of application that you want to play with and explore. And I encourage you all to try out the AlloyDB free cluster and tell us what you are trying out with, what you are building with, what you are exploring it with. And guess what? All the AI capabilities that I'm going to talk in a second are all packaged there, all packed there for you. Okay. Moving on to AlloyDB AI, which is the kind of a trend today, because AI is definitely helping us venture into things that were either took a long time for us to do, or tedious for us to do, or needed a lot of scale and processing. Now those things are coming into reality. If you have your models and your app agents, and actually everybody has them, because everybody has access to that. What I call is an AI is an equalizer. What you have access to the AI models, so does your competitor have access to the AI models. You can build apps and agents, so can your competitor build apps and agents, because these agentic frameworks are available to everybody. What makes the difference is actually your data, because your data is not available to your competitors. So you can ensure that your data, with proper use of AI on top of it, can actually truly move the needle for your business, can truly move the experience for your customers. So data has the power. And I keep saying this one, AI is the equalizer, data is the differentiator. That's where the power to the data community comes. So because of this, we are innovating heavily on um, AI capabilities on AlloyDB database. Because data is important, it is also important to know what types of data are actually driving the business. There is structured data, which, as we all know, mostly stored in the databases. There's rows and columns there. They define your transaction, they define your customer, they define your orders, and so on. But there is also unstructured data. Usually, some of these unstructured data, they go in the lakehouse, in some kind of a what used to be called a big data storage format, and they're probably stored there, and that they have a lot of intelligence built into those. You have to kind of mine them to be able to find those. And then there is coming the world of multimodal data. You can have a video of something, you can have a picture about something, you can have a voice about something, because uh, just like people interact in various modes. I can show you a picture of something, and then you can say what this is. Like in the previous slide, I was showing you a picture of an elephant, and you know that that's an elephant, because a picture says 1,000 words. So people want to use all those other media objects to be able to convey or to be able to interact with computers, interact with the data to get certain thing done. And mostly all these videos or files or voice images are in some object storage. So to be able to harness all of these for your powerful AI applications, you have kind of two approaches. One is the application does all the integration, because they are stored in a silo in everywhere where they want to be, and as a result, application has to bring them all together, use them for what they're best for, and then use them together. Work some scenarios, maybe a challenge for some scenarios. On the other hand, we can also think of this another approach that database integrates it. Orthogonal to where the data is stored, where can a database become the portal or the entry point to all the data and access to give your agentic applications the power to harness all of them together? And we have done a few things in AlloyDB to do that. For example, orthogonal to where your videos or images are stored, you can create vector embeddings of that from within AlloyDB and store within AlloyDB, because AlloyDB now has access to the multi-model LLM models. It's a mouthful, multi-model model. So because these models can create embeddings for videos, for speech, for voice, for pictures, and so on, and you can access them, those models, from within AlloyDB, create those embeddings, store within AlloyDB, so that you can use them with, in addition to everything else that you have on AlloyDB. So what we are bringing to you isn't that ability to not only do vector search, which is many of you are probably familiar with, because a lot of databases now provide vector search. A high functional, high performance, scalable vector search comes with AlloyDB, but also an ability to do natural language interaction with the data, which accesses all your data estates. AlloyDB AI capabilities, they come in various forms. Certain things are integral part of the database itself, like a vector capabilities. What AlloyDB has done, because it is Postgres, the PG vector extension to manage vectors is available to it. So AlloyDB has it, but it has also enhanced it very effective way to be able to reach certain scales, and I'll give you some examples. What it also has the ability to build build a query which not only can um, uh, take advantage of your existing data on your databases, but also the world knowledge which may be available on Google search or internet search or other ways, and you can actually combine them together from your a simple interface to AlloyDB. And also ways to do a natural language communication. You ask it to the database a question in natural language, you get that answer back. It also does a fantastic integration with foundational models, whether those models are coming from Google's own Gemini models or from OpenAI, Anthropic, Hugging Face, or anywhere that you want. All the tooling and integration that needed to build AI applications, such as integration with LangChain, Llama Index, and any other agentic framework, will all come integrated with AlloyDB so that you can build AI application the way you want it to be. Plus, any kind of vibe coding today that is coming up with, you are hearing about Gemini CLI, all those tooling and capabilities are all integrated with AlloyDB today. So the few things that comes with AlloyDB. One, obviously, I talked about vector indexing and many intelligent ways that you can search. You can effectively combine the typical SQL predicates that you have in your SQL statements. Where clause, where, for example, you want to find out, okay, find me a hotel in Orlando less than $200, which is child friendly. So it can find out that, okay, the hotel price is on the database. There'll be a column called nightly price or something. It can put a where clause to be able to do that. Less than this, greater than this. But child friendly is something you may not be able to find out from any column or any data. You may have to go to find out the reviews about the hotel. You may have to go to find out about the other amenities in the hotel, and the kind of get a sense out of it to be able to semantically find out whether this hotel is child friendly or not. You can put this question in one query and allow to be able to use SQL search for the regular predicate filters. It can also do the semantic search, combine them together and bring this to you. And I'll talk also about what kind of advanced optimization that we have done. So this is vector processing. It has been enhanced in AlloyDB because it comes from Postgres. The regular PG vectors is there. Those data types, those functions all exist here. PG vector comes with HNSW indexing mechanism, which is already here, and we have done a lot of innovations on top of it as well. What we have also done is bring in another innovative way to index vector data, which is called scalable approximate nearest neighbor. Scalable, SC stands for scalable, approximate nearest neighbor. So what it does is, I was mentioning to you earlier that Google has decades of experience on building search engines, building serving video, serving text, and so on. Guess what? Those search capability also use some kind of indexing mechanism behind the scene. And those technologies have served and matured over decades, serving huge amount of data. Now, guess what? That semantic search, the vector search that people want to do in database today, in Postgres, in AlloyDB today, have a lot of similarity with that kind of a application pattern. So that technology has been inherited and baked into AlloyDB in the form of something called a scan index, which provide um, which provides humongous performance improvements, which provides the scale to be able to, so that you can actually serve large scale enterprise applications. So who is doing it? Always good to know who else is using it in production, so that you can compare and try to use it. If you go to target.com and search for a product today, okay, I'm looking for this thing. The search mechanism that goes through is actually using AlloyDB today. It is using AlloyDB's vector search capabilities with scan indexing mechanism behind the scene. And you can see it has not only helped them improve the query execution, the search results, and how soon it come out, but also what is super important for people when they put something in the search to do the relevance of the search. A lot of time because of people searching on from various places, typos happen, other things happen, but their intent remains what they're looking for. So the search mechanism to be able to do the semantic similarity search ensures that the relevance of the search is strong, and they target has been able to improve the relevance by 20%. 20% improvement in relevance is huge, is huge. uh, you can think about 20% performance gain is interesting in use. 20% improvement in relevance is even huge because this is a fuzzy space. um, you can read their stories from this blog that Target has published with us, and a lot of details in that blog how to do it. All of Target.com's product search is going through AlloyDB and AlloyDB AI capabilities. Okay, I was talking about how we do faceted filters. So you can actually, in one select statement, you can not only include any regular search statements, but also you can include the embedding. This embedding is actually coming from a vector embedding model. From within AlloyDB, you can actually directly access a model because we have something called model endpoint management. The model has been registered into AlloyDB, so you can get them directly access there. And then we do hybrid approach I was talking about. And what we also introduce something called an AI query engine. What AI query engine does is it can take a natural language type of query from you, and then give you combine this with with other clauses and to provide you the highly accurate results. For example, in this query that you can see, it can join a table with another table, but also introduce an operator called AI.if. So give me the restaurants with in a city, and you can see all the where clause, where all the other thing you're putting there. Okay, this location I'm looking for. Give me the restaurants in this city only if the reviews are positive. The review is a positive is not a static column that you can just see the positive or negative. You have to go parse the review, understand the sentiment analysis of the review. From the sentiment analysis, you'll find, oh, this review was good. That means this restaurant is a good restaurant. I'll go to it. So you can actually kind of combine these kind of capabilities within one select statement, making your application development much easier, faster, and maintainable. So I'll give you a demo of a few things. So a couple of things that I talked to you about is this demo is a very simple demo, but tells a very profound story. Because I started with the premise that AlloyDB is 100% compatible, but we have introduced good amount of differentiators with respect to the regular Postgres. And the differentiators are done in a way that the data store remains totally compatible going forward. But these differentiators should give you the value. And guess what? The differentiator, when they're combined together, gives you even more value. So in this case, differentiator 1 plus differentiator, another differentiator is 1 plus 1 is way more than 2. Because now they're able to take advantage of both the inbuilt capabilities within the engine. In this example that I'm going to show today, and you'll see that how we are able to combine two of AlloyDB has many differentiators. We're going to show you two of the interesting differentiators and how they're combined today to be able to give you much faster, better results. So what I'm showing you is the Google Cloud Console. From Google Cloud Console, you can create, manage, maintain your databases, your instance, and so on. Just like any other cloud has a console to be able to do that. But it also has a very nice query editor where you can actually write the query. You can also see the query plans and so on. So what I'm going to show you here is a two interesting capabilities has kind of a put together. And the two interesting capabilities, one I'll talk about, I mentioned about column ranging. because we are able to store the data transparent to the application and transparent to the user actions in a columnar format to kind of expedite analytical queries. That's one. Second thing I talked about, that we have a scan index capability built into AlloyDB to make the vector processing much faster. We can take advantage of both them together. We can use scan indexing and columnar engine together. This is just released last week. So that's why I'm very honored to show you this. And as a result, you'll see the difference. For the demo purpose, I have a smaller data set, so you will not see a huge difference in performance number, but I'll show you in the query plan what are the key things that does is. So this is the default. So if you can see, so for demo purpose, I've also put this in a flag so that you can see the difference between off and on. So this flag is kind of setting this to off, which is the default. That means columnar engine is also there, scan engine is also there. They're not being combined, used together. That means when you do vector processing, you're using scan, go home happy. If you need an analytical queries, you're using the columnar engine. That's also very fast. Go home happy. That's fine. So in this case, you will see I'm putting it's a very simple query with a vector in terms of processing. So if I would do that in a off mode, which means these two capabilities are not combined together, they are just independently. And I'm showing you the query plan. And you can see that, yes, it is all good, but there is not using any columnar engine. It is just doing regular processing and so on. Still pretty fast, pretty reasonably fast. What you'll see then is if I am turning it on, enable columnar scan equal on, what it means is that now the column engine and scan index will be used together to make these things even faster. So what it does is that it runs the same query, and I can show you what difference to see here. What you'll see here is that in this query plan, that it is able to hit column engine, able to hit two nodes, and the nodes are you can think about if because scan is an index has nodes and leaves and so on. In that nodes, this columnar engine is able to hit two nodes, thereby improving performance. This is a very, very small data set, so you will see that it's only hitting two nodes and so on. But if this was a, let's say, million rows stable performance, so I can see the execution time also, right? So you will not see huge difference in the execution time either. So if it is a large data set, you'll be able to see in the large data set that not only the performance is super fast, but you'll be able to see the IOs are needed less, because now I'm able to use the columnar storage of the vector format and so on. So all these put together, the multiple differentiator working together makes AlloyDB even superior for higher end workloads. Going back to the presentation. So putting all this together, so as an AI developer or an AI user, if you're interacting with AlloyDB, and an end user, you could ask regular transactions, or you could just do regular transaction on the database, which is fantastic. It goes through as usual, like a database. You could do analytical queries. Many of you are all familiar with that as well, especially now that you are familiar with the columnar engine format. It uses the columnar format, gives you fantastic performance. But you could also do AI queries through vector as well as multi-model using graphics and so on. And that is the vector-aware columnar engine can actually go in and do this processing for you. Vector-aware columnar engine is what the demo I just showed you now, right? But you could also come with natural language questions. You could have natural language questions embedded within your queries, or you could have just pure natural language questions. You are simply connect to the database and chatting with the database. So give me all the customers in this region, or give me all the customers who have revenue more than this or less than this in this month. So all this can be done through something called a Google tool called Agent Space. And Agent Space is nothing but an interface to ask natural language questions. And those natural language questions goes to AlloyDB, go through the processing that happens within the database, brings you the answers. So this gives you a full spectrum of database interactions with AI powered everywhere to be able to provide you a database which is not only super strong on regular database capabilities like OLTP analytical queries, but also combined with lots of AI capabilities. Now, little change of track. You can say that, okay, oh, fantastic, okay, AlloyDB is did good. It is built on regular Postgres, so it's 100% compatible. Great, all these innovations in columnar engine, great, all these innovations in AI capabilities and so on, great. But it's a cloud product. It's a cloud product, it's a Google Cloud product. And therefore, it runs only on Google Cloud. What if I don't have a Google Cloud account? Obviously, I gave you an example, the free trial you can go and try. But what if I need to run on another cloud? Because my customer or my workload or my business runs in the other cloud because of some other reasons. Or my workload cannot go to any cloud because of some regulations that I have, because of some sovereign scenario I have, because of some industry constraints that I have. For that, we bring you AlloyDB Omni. All those goodies that I mentioned to you in the previous slides, and many more that I could not cover today because of the time, so I pick and choose only a few, are all packaged in a downloadable software. You can go download today, and you'll call it AlloyDB Omni. You can download AlloyDB Omni, which is again remains 100% Postgres compatible, have all the goodies and capabilities and innovations that I mentioned to you in a downloadable way, and you can run it on your laptop. You can run it on a container. You can run it on any other cloud. You can run it on premises and everywhere. That's why I call Omni, means omnipresent. So again, it has got all the AlloyDB's goodness that you saw about. In the form of AlloyDB Omni, it's a downloadable version. It runs anywhere. And we have lots of customers, especially in the financial industry. They have constraints because of the constraint the industry puts on them, for which they are not able to take the data to any cloud. So they will run this on, and they were mostly running some proprietary software. They have come to a stage that if they do not innovate, they are not running on an innovative database. They are lagging behind because the proprietary databases are not innovating fast enough in the AI space. Some of these proprietary databases still do not have a vector data type today. Or if have it, they may have it in preview, which is not yet released, and so on. So to be able to, so this is making these companies, industries far behind. So they say, okay, we want the state of the art, most advanced AlloyDB database that you have, but we are in on-premises. So many of our financial customers, they're running core banking workload and other kind of financial workloads on-premises using AlloyDB Omni. Some of our retail customers want a database on their store. Every store they want to have a database, and they are using AlloyDB Omni for that. And so you can actually run AlloyDB Omni in Google Cloud, on-premises, multi-cloud. Actually, we have some customer running AlloyDB Omni on Azure Cloud. Some of them are running AlloyDB Omni on AWS Cloud. So that's a true value of database being brought to everywhere. So the database innovation do not get constrained to one cloud only. Many especially in we see in EMEA region, where there is a sovereign cloud concept, that a concept of the regions or countries, they want to keep the data within them there because of the industry plus country regulations. Some countries do not even have a data center from any cloud provider. So they obviously, even though they want to take it to cloud, they have no choice but to run it on premises data center. They're all fantastically happy with AlloyDB Omni running in this. With that, that's all I have for today. Thank you for sticking with me. I have provided here some links to the AlloyDB AI blogs, how we support multi-model embeddings, some code lab. Code labs are just like the step-by-step thing that you can walk through on that, and then you can learn yourself in web page and everything else. I'll stick around for a few minutes to answer any questions that you may have. So back to you, John and Ronan. So roll it.
Great, outstanding. I love the entire content. Thank you so much, Sanjay, for putting this together. You may notice how much noise this screen was going over because everybody was applause, happy, and share their satisfactions.
Thank you. Thank you.
As you're welcome. As Sanjay mentioned, if you do have a question, feel free to ask. We still have times. So, and Sanjay is live. So I would highly suggest you to take advantage of this moment and interact lively with Sanjay. Wonen, can you make sure everyone have access to unmute?
Yes, everyone can use your microphone now and your camera as well if you want.
Yes.
Yeah. And I put my email on the chat as well. Feel free to email me anything if you want to know more about it, learn more about it, discuss anything about it. Very happy. And you mentioned about a few events coming up. Guess what? I'll be at the PASS conference. So if any of you will be at the PASS conference, I'll be telling a new story in PASS conference this year as well. So see you all there as well.
Outstanding. And Sanjay, if you don't mind, I would also suggest you to share your LinkedIn profile. So therefore, if anyone would like to connect with you,
absolutely
they can,
doing it right away.
Wonen, you want to say something?
No, we are okay. There are thanks in the chat, and it was great session.
Thank you. So it seems like you didn't leave home, Sanjay, because there is absolutely no questions. The thing is, you know your stuff too, Sanjay, and I love what you just did, to be honest with you.
Good. Thank you so much, and I look forward to interact with you all again. And feel free to reach out through my email, through LinkedIn, and very happy to discuss with you all. By the way, if anybody of you use AlloyDB today, definitely ping me because I want to be friends with you.
Yes, and Sanjay already put his link in. I highly suggest you to do that. Okay, connect with Sanjay, so therefore you can stay up to date with the latest information or posts Sanjay would like to share with the community. So with that said, if you don't have any question, I know we are all busy. I won't keep everyone on the call. This session is recorded and it will be posted on our YouTube channel, and we will notify you and also post that on our social media. One more time, thank you so much for being with us, and thank you so much, Sanjay, and we hope to have you next year.
Thank you. Looking forward to it, and have fun.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, Daddy.
Have a good one.